All
Good,
right.
good morning, good
All right.
afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hello, hello.
Welcome. And we are opening the doors for everyone to come in. Maybe, Crystal, we should pin your video and my video so that it's, you know, better for every live stream
How's
viewer.
that? I can pin myself.
And I can pin myself.
Can everybody see my beautiful face?
Here we go.
My beautiful morning face.
I think we're both pinned. Is that right?
Well, I can only see myself.
Oh, that's interesting.
Should we be pinned side by side?
Yes, we should
Ah,
be.
well, it appears that I have beat you to the pin. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome. Today we have our final Fundamentals of Awakening event. We're going to be doing a foundations course Q&A and an energy alignment. And we've got people logged into Zoom, but also we're streaming on Facebook, I think, and YouTube. So welcome to everybody here in the Zoom call and welcome to everybody out there on the social medias. It's been a transformative month for sure.
Yes, it's really good to see all of you here. It's going to be, in general, a really powerful foundations. It's probably going to be the most powerful foundations we've ever done. And how it really works, that every course is just more powerful than the previous course. I don't really know how that goes, but it somehow happens to be like that. It seems that we are, as a team, upgrading. You as participants are upgrading and are on a new level of readiness to receive. And on top of that, the energy levels on this earth are rising. So the earth is upgrading, if you want to say so, or this earthly plane is upgrading. There is more energy available for this kind of work. We just have to know how to resource it, how to utilize that energy for consciousness expansion, as well as for the healing process that we're going through internally. So energy is energy. It's just about how can it be utilized for a particular purpose, right? So in this case, we want to utilize it for the evolution and for the healing and for the alignment and for the expansion of our consciousness. Now, consciousness is not independent from all other parts of our being. Mental, emotional, physical, and the energetic, spiritual aspects are all connected and tied into it. Therefore, it's not just an alignment of a single piece of our being, it's an entire alignment of our entire being. So, foundations, long-winded answer, is going to be amazing, is going to be potent, and it might even be the largest foundations we've ever done. So it's going to be just as a collective size and collective focus that we're going to have in this energetic field that we will create together. And that in itself is pure transformational gold. So excited.
Right. And for those of you who have been with us the past month, hopefully it's been a transformative journey for you leading up to it. And if you haven't had the chance to be with us over the last month, we have gone through the awakening to the totality of our being, the topic, and silence and presence. And we've done some practices. So feel free to revisit those in a replay if you'd like. They're not mandatory, but they certainly are helpful. And just a show of hands over here for the people that I have. is there, how many of you have been on at least one other either live stream or practice session in the last month? Any of you? Yeah, good. Yeah, a bunch of you. Good. And how has that journey been for you? Thumbs up? Good stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of hearts and thumbs over here, and
Right.
and celebration expressions.
Mhm.
So feel free to take a look at those. We have them available for you in replay, and you can watch them at any time on our website, and the team will put the link in the chat. The other thing that makes this day so special, other than the fact that we all get to be together, is that it is the last day of pre-enrollment for foundations. So if you are curious, we're going to answer as many of your questions here today. But if you are curious, please go ahead and pre-enroll, and the team will put the link in the chats for pre-enrollment. And if you are already pre-enrolled and you are approved, please go ahead and enroll. You have that enrollment link in your inbox. So we look forward to each and every one of you being on this journey with us. And we're so grateful for the energetic container that you contributed to in the last month, whether you were with us for a day, a practice, a session, or even just now being with us here. So I see big smiles on this Zoom. It's nice. It's nice doing a combination of live stream and Zoom calls, because you get to feel there's like a two-way interaction, which is nice. Otherwise, we're just kind of broadcasting out. Anybody out there? Is anyone smiling? What do people look like? So, Asil, what do you think? Should we get to questions, or is there something
Yeah.
else that you'd like to share or contribute? Or
Let me see. There's always a couple of things I'd like to
Mhm.
share. So for all of those that have pre-enrolled, thank you for your trust. And I will do another round of approvals today. Like, I'll go through a list of those that have pre-enrolled since yesterday. So I've been in the last couple days, or for the last couple days until pre-enrollments are finished, been doing them every day so that the approvals emails can go out fast. For those that have been approved and haven't signed up yet, please complete that process as well, because then there is a couple of new processes that are attached to it. Like, you'll get your meditations, you'll be invited to the Mighty Network space, and so on and so forth. So you'll be like in the proper preparations for the course itself. So for those that are on the fence, pre-enrolled, or haven't decided if they're going to repeat this course because they've done base camp or foundations before, I'd say wait no longer. Just do it. And the reason I'm saying that is because this foundations is truly going to be a whole nother level of delivery, a whole nother level of potency. And I don't think you can have too many foundations in your life. Like, if you want to do foundations once a year, I'd recommend doing it, because the landscape, the energetic landscape of our world, of our lives, is changing so vast that in a year from now, the energetic landscape and the frequencies that we're dealing with and the waves of energies that are moving through this earthly plane are going to be completely different than they were a year before. A year back from today, the world looked very different, right? It felt very different. You felt very different. And if you look 2 years back, it's a whole different world. It's a whole different reality. And if you look 3 years back, there was even something called COVID, I think, right? There was like a whole situation going on and everyone's freaking out and losing their beans. And fascinating, right? It's really incredible to watch what human psyche, to the human energy body, to the human emotions, to the human mind when we are faced with challenges. Now, challenges are not going to go anywhere, okay? So humans will always face challenges in one form or another. These challenges look different for every single human being. They look different from society to society, from community to community, from family to family. They're in some ways very unique. They're relatable to some degree, but they're mostly very unique challenges. Now, if challenges are not going anywhere, what's the one thing that can help us to move through challenges better? It's like to establish a strong alignment within, a stronger inner peace, so that the outer world, no matter how it is faced with an inner strength and resilience, is faced with an inner peace and inner grace. Does that make sense? Yeah. So then everything that you're observing as a challenge in your immediate environment, in your immediate relationships, you learn to observe with a sense of neutrality, with a sense of non-duality, rather than being reactive to it, rather than having an emotional response right away to it, rather than having an expressive and an active response right away to it. You learn to observe. You learn to let the challenge land. And your response or reaction, if there should be any at all, comes from a place of center, comes from a place of alignment, comes from a place of strength. But a strength that is established through the soul. A strength that's established through our connection to the earth, through our connection to all of existence. So this midline is really strong and established. So your presence comes from that place. So that's what I'll say. And continuing to work on this midline, in this inner alignment, in this inner strength, every day, all day. It's the most powerful thing you can have in life. And I believe that true abundance comes from that place. I believe that true health comes from that place. I believe that all healthy relationships and all healthy environments come from that inner alignment and from that strength that we hold inside. So that's what I'll say to foundations and the upcoming foundations. And it is so lovely to see that many of you having joined today for our exciting Q&A and a channeling we're going to have as well.
That's right. And I see some familiar faces here. So thank you for being here. And we have some new people here, and which means that we have some new questions. So
Great.
One of them has already just emerged. Aruna, who's on YouTube, watching on YouTube. Hello, Aruna. Asks, how do you determine your approvals?
It's actually very easy, because the less we have to do, the better it is. Because human evaluation, humans evaluate based on various different things, right? Humans evaluate based on what humans can perceive and compute and comprehend. And I think human evaluation can be fallible. Is that a word, Crystal? Okay, good. But when it comes to the evaluation specifically for foundations, the guides have basically established, they decide if someone that is on the pre-enrollment list is ready to go through this foundations at this time. So it's a matter of timing. It's not a matter of, oh, this person is not right to go through a foundations course. It's more about, it's the right time for this person to go through this right now, right? And for some of you, it may not be, and it's perfectly okay. It's not a rejection. It just means the guides are sensing that there is something more important going on in your life at this time during this course that requires more of your attention than this course. So they've just somehow determined a prioritization of what's going on in your life versus doing this course. And that's perfectly. We've had people that have gotten twice and not yet, and on the third time they got a yes, and they were so happy to do it that way because they have also seen like there was something really potent going on in their lives that needed their full attention, and they couldn't have done the course in a good way if they would have gotten in the first or second time. So it's just a matter of timing, right? And so the guides basically go like, I go into an embodied state, Emmanuel comes in, someone reads off the list for me, and then Emmanuel says yes or not yet. So that's kind of like how it goes. Yeah, that's in a nutshell how the evaluations approvals go.
Yeah. And it's also good to know that on the flip side, if there's something that you're tentative about in terms of committing to the course and you're thinking, oh, well, I've got this big thing coming up. Maybe I shouldn't take the course. I might not be able to complete it. It's good to know that the guides say that you're ready. So it's like that reassurance of like, yeah, you can do both, because otherwise the guides would have said no.
Right. And we have even like family holders, like a single parent and so on, really asking, is like, is this the right thing to do for me right now? And they get a yes, so they feel some sense that they can do it.
Yeah.
And they can.
Yeah. And there is another question which I think is beautiful. It's always the elephant in the room is like, what happens if I don't get in this time? What can I do to prepare myself, if anything, for the next foundations, or what can I do to prepare? Because we have about, I would say about 10% get a not yet. It's never a no, it's always a not yet. The timing is always right at some point for everybody. So what do you think you would share with people, Asil, about how to prepare?
For next foundations, you mean?
Yeah. They can't, if they've gotten a not yet.
I'd say our discovery course is a very good place to do that. It's pretty much an 8-week long course that's really potent and has a lot of concepts that will help you in your journey. And it's self-paced. So for anyone who was a not yet because of timing, because something was going on in their lives, a self-paced course is pretty good because they can decide when they're going to do a transmission, when they're going to do a meditation, when they're going to do an exercise. So it's kind of like really based on your own timing, which makes this discovery course a really good choice for those that are not going through foundations. For those that are going through foundations, you're going to have all your hands full. So ideally, don't any other courses in time that you're going to be doing them.
That's right. There are some other questions about what if I can't tune in live? to the live streams or the practices on Friday doesn't mean that I should not be taking the course. What do you think about that?
Sorry, say that again. I was reading George's question, and that's really a good one.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. So I was asking, what if they can't tune in live to the
oh
live
yeah.
streams or live to the practices? Should
Mhm.
they go ahead and take the course anyway?
Absolutely. So the live transmissions, they are delivered, the energy of it is delivered from a place of no space and time. So it's kind of like the quantum field, if you want to say so. And the energy is connected, access to the energy, no matter when you watch it. But we do recommend, in order to continue on each of the steps that we have in foundations, to do it within a 24-hour time frame when the live transmission is delivered. So you have 24 hours to really do it. And it's, I think that's totally doable. Like for most people, it should be, to squeeze that hour in for the live transmission. But it doesn't have the dot at the exact same time. Now, the Friday session that we have, which is specifically designed for practice, it's good for you to be there. But if you can't, there will be extra practice sessions during the week that you can join. Meaning, even if you miss this practice session, you'll be able to join other practice sessions with the same exercises throughout the week. And it will give you the interactive element of being able to work with other people in an exercise. So there are many options, even for those that are not immediately, that cannot join those live sessions directly.
Okay, great. All right. So we've got a list building here.
Yeah.
All right. Joanne is asking, will this on YouTube, will this course strengthen our connection or facilitate a strong connection with our own inner guidance or inner guides? We talk a lot about the guides, the Elohim and Emmanuel, but she's asking, will it strengthen our inner connection?
Yes, 100%. So the reason we don't have a strong connection with ourselves, with our own inner guidance, with our own higher self, with our own soul, is because there is a lot of unprocessed stuff that's piled on top of this, on top of our, soul, like an onion. There's layers of an onion of unprocessed stuff. It could be societal stuff, it could be emotional things, it could be generational trauma, it could be past life experiences that haven't been processed, and so on and so forth. There is a lot of things there. So our connection to ourself and our intuition, our connection to our soul and to our higher self is muddled with thoughts and emotions of unprocessed things that are consistently flavoring our perspective, our opinion, and getting a very clear yes or no on anything that we want to know about. And in this process of foundations, we go through an alignment process that includes a realignment, a clearing, a purification, peeling these layers off one by one. And this peeling is not just getting rid of things, but they're really about integration. They're really about realizations. And once things get realized and the adjustments that the guides provide, this channel that you are becomes more and more clear. It becomes more and more pure. And your communication to your own self, your own thoughts, your own intuition becomes a lot more attuned. And yes, the answer is yes.
Thank you.
Crystal, I want to take George's question. It's in our Zoom.
Yeah,
chat.
it's in our Zoom. It's also in this as well. So sure, go for it. Yep.
So
George is
yeah,
let's ask the question for those who are on YouTube and Facebook.
Mhm.
So George is asking in the email sent out, one of Elohim's messages was that gifts will momentarily pause since the foundation is being rebuilt. If we're already feeling this, can you elaborate on what this will look like or elaborate on this message?
Yeah, that's a really good one, because it's good to know that that happens, because when it happens, people freak out a little bit. So let's say you have already some sort of gift. You have already a very good intuition about things, or you are a really powerful healer already, and suddenly you're doing foundations and your intuition is like gone. You're like, where's my gift? What did you guys do to me? You broke me. Yeah, So what the reality of this is that in the process of rebuilding a foundation, there is a dismantling of things that needs to happen, because the constructs upon which these gifts are built are often not sustainable to grow into something much bigger. Now, think about it this way. Think about it like the foundation of a house, okay? So let's say there was a foundation built, and you've built, looking cottage on top of that foundation. And let's say that represents your gift, okay? It works perfectly fine. It's a beautiful cottage, you live like really nicely and beautifully in it, but something is missing, and you realize that you're outgrowing the cottage, okay? Now, let's say the guys are architects and developers, okay? So they're coming to redo this. What needs to happen is the cottage needs to be deconstructed, foundation needs to be built, and upon this new foundation, you can build an entire skyscraper. That's how I envision it. And you can't build the skyscraper on top of the foundation that was holding a cottage, okay? Now, what I'm trying to say is that during the periods of this reestablishing of the foundation, it's very possible that your gifts are quiet or dormant, inactive for it, but they will return, and they'll return even stronger. And that's really the beauty of it. People's practices just skyrocket after foundations. People's intuition and people's own channels, people's own communication to themselves, and clear thoughts, clear emotions, everything becomes stronger through and after foundations. So not to panic, relax into it, and it's going to be.
That's great. Thank you. We also see how, or we've had reflections of participants after the fact say, oh, I was really relying on that gift. I made it part of my identity, and I didn't realize I could actually move beyond it.
Very good,
And I didn't
Crystal.
actually, need it as much as I was holding on to it. So releasing it to be of greater service into the world, and allow for new gifts to come in that you didn't even imagine, but you were kind of being kept from that because you were so tied to the identity of who you are with this, who you were with this one gift. So we've heard that as well, which is beautiful. Let's see. On YouTube, Tinky Weller is asking, do we continue with our breathing meditation along with the new foundations meditation? So I guess what she's asking on a bigger scale is, can you do the other things that you used to do or that you're used to doing within your habits and still do the meditations and be part of foundations?
Of course you can. So we're not in the department of like creating very super strict rules, unless it's specific courses later on. But here's the thing. Let's say you are training for the marathon, okay? And you have like daily long runs and you're just so used to it and your system is just used to doing what you're doing. And it's perfectly fine. It's part of your routine. And suddenly you're doing all these meditations and these transmissions and all of that. And the routines that you've used to have just feel like really a lot because your system is going through a change. So I want to invite you to be okay with letting go of existing routines during foundations if it feels too much, right? So my recommendation is do what feels good and what feels right to the capacity that feels good and that feels right. And if it's too much, be okay to let go of it for now. Just put it on pause and be okay with putting it on pause, right? So I'd say ultimately breathing exercises are great. Physical exercises are great. All like Qigong is great and yoga is great. All of those things are fantastic. And they can be very well complementary exercises to what we have here. But just be mindful and see where your body is, because foundations transmissions can really be potent, and it could be that your system needs a pause to just integrate what you just received. That's what I'll say.
Great. All right. And that is.
Oh. Did she just froze? Or is it me? All right. Well, let's see what else we got here. Will the foundations create a deeper inner healing, spiritual, whether and physical and emotional level? Yeah, so let me find her question list. Yeah, so Wendy is asking, how strong should our meditations be in this course? And what if we struggle with our meditations? So I'd say, Wendy, I don't really think about meditations as strong. Like, what I think about is, do I have a set routine that helps me to establish a structure in my daily life that will help me to get better and better in my meditations? Now, if you have 3 or 4 daily meditations, maybe one day your meditations don't go so well, and maybe you are a little bit out of it, or you feel emotionally charged and you can't really get into the flow. And it's okay. Not every meditation needs to be perfect, right? So sometimes we have to just accept wherever we are in that particular meditation. And it may not be our best state of mind or a state of being. And we may not find our deepest strength or our deepest non-dual self in that deepest presence in that meditation. Perfectly okay. The key is to keep doing it. The key is to go through the meditations and through the motions. Transformation will definitely happen. And ultimately, the depth of the meditations will get stronger and stronger. So we had a question earlier from Gila. Gila was saying, since meditating with you this past week, my body temperature has been fluctuating with an intense heat emanating from my core, along with the full body vibrations. Yes, Jilam. So there is a lot of interesting things that start to happen when we start on this journey, right? Even before you start with foundations, the transformation that's happening is really interesting. And we call these things the natural symptoms or byproducts of the transformational process that the guides are delivering. So an increased body temperature is normal and it's totally acceptable, right? Obviously, you're not in a feverish state for days or upon hours. It's just an increased temperature, which means things are moving, right? There is an energy of movement, and an increased heat also brings forth healing. Normally, the body increases in temperature when it's doing healing work, right? So when you have an injury, the body temperature goes up in that area, right? It starts to do a healing process. When you have a virus, the body temperature goes up to heal through that. So the increased flow of life force and energy, the increased temperature is a healing process. The body vibrations, well, that's a whole nother conversation, right? The energy moving through is a bit like an energetic current, and it's like electricity. And the deeper you tap into the current that's moving through in the meditations, in the transmissions, the stronger the current is that's moving through your system. And current has also tremendous healing and transformational power. And this current that is moving through us, this frequency, changes and realigns and fixes a lot of things within ourselves. And it may feel a bit like a vibration. In the beginning, your body may not know how to handle it because it's such a strong current. But it's really a beautiful, like, purity, and it's creating this vibration in your system. I think it's perfect, and I think it's great, and you'll kind of get used to these like little side effects of this work. It actually makes it more tangible rather than, people say, I don't feel anything. Well, watch this. All right, well, welcome to the crew, Gila. Let's see. I have a bunch of other questions here. Oh, yeah. So Melanie is asking, how can I be more aware, perceive more of my higher self and the angelic realm? And how can I be a clearer vessel? So, and she's already enrolled in foundations. Well, welcome, Melanie. It's going to be good to have you. All of the above requires a strong foundation. To be a clearer vessel for the divine, to have access to higher self, to have access to angelic realms, requires a strong foundation and alignment within. And it requires the ability to build a strong, energetic presence. Consciousness resides at a certain level, certain frequency. And when we establish enough life force within us, when the energy is really strongly moving through us, consciousness can reach higher frequencies and can reach higher and higher and higher. And it requires, the clearer the vessel is, the clearer our system is, the easier it is for consciousness to reach higher frequencies and higher planes of consciousness. Now, Foundations does that. It's part of that clearing mechanism. It's part of the establishing of the foundation. And it is part of the increasing of the life force within your vessel, the capacity of your being, so that you can reach higher planes of consciousness. And in the beginning, it may be your higher self. In the beginning, it may be a clear understanding of who you are, your intuition, on how to make decisions about life, how to make decisions about relationships, about the next step in your life. Everything becomes much more clear in terms of your higher self. Later on, you'll be able to reach higher planes of consciousness. All of that is part of the journey. Fantastic. Great question. Let's see. We've got another from George. What to do about external influences resisting your current dismantling of foundation, like solidifying routine, strengthening the body, awareness, focus, gratitude? The reason I ask is I've observed some take offense to your expansion. And I think he means his expansion. Distractions or disturbances, or is this an opportunity for my own perspective paradigm shift to thank all the contrast that is necessary in clarifying an alignment process? Yeah, so George, you're onto something here, because what happens is you're changing, and people and your immediate environment around you expects you to be a certain way because they want to rely on you to be that certain person. For you to change is a bit of a threat to those that are around you, that rely on you, that rely on your love, that rely on your presence. It is a bit of a trigger for people to see someone shifting, changing, growing. Believe it or not, if they can see a linear growth, that's acceptable. Okay, so I'll see, okay, you're going to the gym on a daily basis, so you're going to look better and you're going to lose some weight. Great. So I can linearly track that, and that's acceptable for me because it's predictable, more or less. Okay, but if you're going into a transformational process that's potentially exponential growth, that's scary. You've made a decision to transform beyond any bounds, beyond any perceived, preconceived notions of what is allowed in terms of how much can I change or how little should I change to be accepted, to be loved, and all of that stuff. You're past that. You're ready to transform and to step into a new level of being. Now, are those around? Maybe not. Maybe they're a little scared. And that's perfectly normal. That's human, right? And they may require a little bit of assurance that you're still going to be there for them, that you're still going to love them, and all of the above. Now, will there be sometimes distracting and disturbing energies around? Things or people requesting your attention because you're not giving them enough attention during your own process? Yes, that might happen. Like some voices, energies might become really loud around you, like wanting your attention. Hey, listen to me, I want your attention. Don't do this stupid meditation, I want you right now. Okay, so that's might happen. And that will be for you to navigate this with grace. being able to be present for what is emerging in front of you and not giving up on you and your commitment to evolve. It is a fine balancing act. So, great question, George. Thank you very much. It's good to have you. Let's see, we have more questions. All right. I'll do one more question. Will foundations create a deeper inner healing for each of us, whether on a physical or emotional level? That's a question from Sheila. Thank you. I would say it has the potential to, absolutely. And sometimes these emotional or physical healing pieces, they might be in the forefront of our consciousness. We might think, okay, this is really the thing that I need to work on. This is like kind of my high priority item. And I've made this list of things that I need to heal. And now when I do foundations, the guides are going to go through my own priority list. Okay, so that's kind of like an unspoken expectation people have. And I'll say right away that expectation may have to be crushed. But in a nice way, meaning the guides make their own priority list. They look at aspects of your being, even aspects that are on unconscious layers, aspects that are deeply in other parts of your being that may or may not be connected to your priority list, and they'll work on those things first. So they have a different prioritization because they have a different perspective and a different scope of your being, right? They look at you from all angles possible, beyond what we can see as, oh, this is an emotional trauma I need to heal, right? They see so much more. And so they work on a different priority. Now, certain things heal over time and they align over time, but it's not always in the way we expect them to be. Not sure if that makes sense, but it will. You will understand when you stick to the work that we're doing here, you'll understand. But definitely we have seen tremendous healing and growth and strengthening and alignment that people have gone through. So it's been really beautiful to see that. Thank you so much for your questions, guys. We will do a channeling, but I will request a 2-minute bio break. I've been drinking a lot of tea. I'll be right back. All right. So what we're going to do is a quick and short channeling process. For all of those that have pre-enrolled and for all of those that have been part of this journey with us, this is a perfect time to invite friends and those that you think are possibly ready for this kind of a course, this kind of a training course, into the process. And the pre-enrollment is going to be open until midnight today. So thank you all for joining, and let's have a quick transmission. Greetings. We are Elohim. All of you, all of you have seen the potential that lies within an individual human being, a human that can transform beyond its own comprehension, beyond its own beliefs, beyond its own understanding of what is possible. While you may never have contemplated this possibility for yourself, you are that individual that you have seen transform. And you are so much more. The potential that lies within you beyond any experienced, any observed individual that has lived or is currently alive. The potential that lies within you is beyond comprehension of the human mind. Yet even the aspects that are within your comprehension of what is possible for you, the aspects of alignment, the aspects of growth, the aspects of potential that you can hold, yet you have not reached yet, is within the possible reality of your life and of this time defined within this 4 weeks together. The delivery of transmissions, the delivery of energetic alignments, the energetic container that is established for you is an incubation chamber to bring forth, to birth the new version of you, a version that holds your greatest potential as a foundation, your purest, your most loving, your aligned, your most in tune and attuned self. And in this process of attunement, in this process of incubation, you will notice that aspects within your perception will shift as well. Your perspective of yourself, your perspective of life. Emotions unfelt, unprocessed, ready to be perceived and realized, integrated into a holistic being that you are. Physical misalignments connected to mental constructs and emotional constructs. Ready to be transformed. An energetic presence that is dispersed in the past and tied in the probable future, to be untied and to be processed, to become truly present in the very moment, where your entire energy of existence will align to serve you, your life, and the lives of those around you. An individual that finds its way to power through alignment, through purification, will bear the responsibility to hold this power with grace and with love, will bear the responsibility to share this power with those in need, without conditions and with grace. This is the beauty of being a human in the awakening process, being a human in transformation, being a human in the evolution of consciousness, in this great transformational process of humanity. This is who you are. This is who you have chosen to be. A soul awakening at this time of humanity's awakening. A soul pioneering this path, this of your consciousness, this embodiment of the potential of your soul. This is who you are. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for trusting this human construct of this organization and the individuals that hold this frequency, for all of you to receive. Thank you for listening to our words and for receiving this message. Ooh. Yeah, you can stay in this frequency for as long as you want to. You can continue with a meditation, or lie down to truly bathe in this particular sweet flow of energy, of universal love. When I close my eyes, I can drift right back into it. And it is a beautiful energy. It's very healing. It's very aligning. It has intelligence. It has consciousness. It's been a true pleasure and honor to have all of you here. I am super excited about foundations, as you can tell. And I'm super excited to get as many new individuals as we can into this process as well. Because I know that with every new soul joining, this community, this family gets richer. With every new soul that's coming into this journey, humanity gets another chance. Humanity becomes a new version of itself. Because every single human, every one of you, has the potential and the power to transform all of humanity. Therefore, all of you are incredibly significant in this journey. And our honor and our work, responsibility, our life's purpose is to bring you on this journey of empowerment, in this journey of liberation, in this journey of expansion. And there's nothing more beautiful in life to do. This is why we have chosen to do this and to share it with all of you. So thank you all for joining. Love you all very much, and blessings to all of you. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful weekend. Most likely you'll see my face here and there on social media or mighty networks. Blessings.